So what we observe is that from here, the prediction of a failure we are not sure about. The stress level does not give sure shot of prediction level. It is not using the non-linear part of the stress strain curve. It also does not give the true margin of safety against the failure. A factor of safety of 3 for concrete as allowable or permissible stress does not mean that the member will fail at 3 times its load. Whatever the load is permitted at the working stress level or the service load, if I multiply it by 3, that does not mean that the structure will fail. Why is it so? It is so because the yield stress is divided by 3 to get the allowable permissible stress. But even beyond the yield stress, the concrete has capacity. That capacity is not explored. So a factor of safety of 3 does not mean that the member will fail at a load which is the service load or the working load multiplied by 3. Also, in the working stress method, one gets to know the stress level in the member at the given loading. That means at the service load or the working load, what is the stress that one can easily compute. But one cannot know how much overload the structure can take before it would eventually fail. How much more load can be allowed on a particular structure? One cannot calculate with the working stress method of design. It is logical to use the method based on load causing failure rather than stress, because in this we would come to know what would be the stress at that level. By knowing the stress, it would be of no use to anyone, because what would be of more use is how much load can be allowed, not how much stress it can take. So if the working stress method of design could uh, allow computation of load causing failure, it would have been much relevant rather than the stress which gets exceeded. So that is another demerit of working stress method. Now there is something called as redistribution of moments which we normally carry out for some structures. Now whenever the redistribution of moments is carried out, additional load carrying capacity is allowed on that particular member. But in working stress method, the additional load carrying capacity due to redistribution of moments cannot be accounted for, cannot be used at all. Also, in case of failure, it doesn't show the actual strength, nor it gives the true factor of safety of the structure. The factor of safety is the one assumed at the yield stress. So when the structure fails, how much was the actual factor of safety, one cannot compute. It also means that in the region beyond the permissible stress, the factor of safety cannot be computed. Another very important thing is, as far as the calculation of the compression steel in the structural members are concerned, the modular ratio design results in a larger percentage of compression steel. So for compression steel, the amount of steel which we provide over there is much more than necessary. The amount of steel computed is much more, much larger, which renders the structure uneconomical. Also, we know that concrete does not have a definite modulus of elasticity because of creep and non-linear stress-strain relationship. But the working stress method of structural design gives a total disregard to this. Now this creep and non-linear stress-strain relationships have been shown over here in the graph, because of which E, the capital E, the modulus of elasticity goes on changing. But that cannot be incorporated in the working stress method of structural design. Now all this is true. There are so many disadvantages. But the calculations are so easy, one can easily do many of these calculations even in the mind. The calculations can be done even on the site. At the site, if the steel provided is wrong, if the moment can be calculated due to the loads on the site, the steel can be prescribed. The amount of steel to be provided can be told easily because the calculations are very easy. There is total simplicity in design. This has made the working stress method very popular amongst the structural engineers, structural designers all over the world, even with these demerits. I would also like to mention that in many of the countries, this method is still uh, gone ahead with. People still do the structural design with the working stress method of structural design because it is very simple. Also, the structures designed by the working stress method generally tend to give better serviceability performance. What happens is, over here in the working stress method, the stress considered, the service stress considered is much lower. Because the service stress considered is much lower, the sections are larger. Because the sections are larger, the deflection is less, there is less crack width, so therefore less leakage, less problems due to corrosion and all that. So people prefer this because there is no trauma created, there is no problem of serviceability performance, cracks, especially in water retaining structures, the earth retaining structures, and the others which are subject to saline environment. The cracks are less, so that's why the maintenance also is less. So people prefer the working stress method because of this. The other aspect is the larger sections or conservative design approach makes the structure designed uneconomical. So sometimes the owners don't become happy. They feel that for the same structure they are spending so much higher, it should have been much lesser. So it is uneconomical. Now, we also know that the working stress method of the structural design is the only method which can be used to investigate the reinforced concrete section for service stresses and serviceability states of deflection and cracking. So whenever the investigation is done about how much deflection has occurred, how much is going to occur, or why cracking occurred, why the width of the crack was this much, why leakage occurred, now all these serviceability and service stresses, if at all anyone wants to investigate or do the calculations for this, that is deflection and cracking, working stress method of structural design is the only approach. So even now that is very popular as far as analysis is concerned. The most important advantage of the working stress method of structural design is if one knows the working stress method of structural design, one can easily understand the serviceability condition of the latest method of structural design, that is the limit state method of design. So in order to use the limit state method of design serviceability condition, if anyone wants to do the calculations, having a prior knowledge of working stress method of structural design gives the advantage. So overall, when we look at the working stress method of structural design, we understand that the working stress method of structural design gives or produces conservative designs. It produces larger cross sections. It gives much more steel. At the same time, the stress levels in concrete as well as steel are much lower. We also understand that in working stress method of structural design, the portion which is loaded is the elastic region. Hence, when the load is removed, automatically the sections will regain their original shape and size. The disadvantages as far as working stress method of structural design is concerned, it is uneconomical. The sections produced are much larger. The steel used is much more. The true factor of safety is not known. Then how much load can be allowed over and above the working load can never be known. So these are some of the important disadvantages which made working stress method a bit less popular. The working stress method also did not take into account the uncertainties in the load, the duration for which the load would be applied, something like dead load would be there for a longer time, snow load or wind load or the earthquake load would be for a very less amount of time. These uncertainties were not addressed. All the loads were given the same loading factor. So giving the same factor of safety, same load factor also made the structure uneconomical.